This is the beginning of a new day. I have been given this day to use as I will, and what I do today is important because I'm exchanging a new day of my life for it. When tomorrow comes, this day will be gone forever, leaving in its place whatever I have traded for. I will pledge to myself that it shall be for gain, good, and success, in order that I shall not regret the price I paid for this day. My thinking and my attitudes are calm and they're cheerful. I act and feel friendly towards other people. I am tolerant of other people, their shortcomings and mistakes, and I view their actions with the most favorable understanding possible. I act as though attainment of my goals is sure to happen. I am the kind of individual I aspire to be, and everything I do and the way I feel expresses this individuality. I will not allow my judgment or attitude to be affected by negativism or pessimism. I will try to smile as often as possible, at least several times a day. I respond in a calm and intelligent manner without alarm, no matter what the situation. If I cannot control a situation, I try always to react in a positive manner, even to negative facts. I know that if I apply myself to forming habits to enable me to act in the above manner, it will have a positive influence on my self-image in a most constructive way. By making these actions a part of my life, I will notice a definite growth in my self-confidence. I'm continuing to read this passage by more than the 21 days that it was meant to last, because it's a reminder of how precious each day is. I don't always read the passage in the morning when I wake up, nor does it happen exactly when I'm about to go to bed at night, when I change the words to say, this is the end of a new day. And for example, today I'm reading it in the middle of the day. But the goal is to remain consistent and continually remind myself of the preciousness of life and what we do with our day. For example, I'm excited today to continue testing my next experiment. And this experiment has been with a project of mine called Magico Lab, which is a laboratory for magic. It's a laboratory that teaches artificial intelligence to younger kids in Mexico who haven't quite perhaps gotten familiar with these latest tools that could potentially make a difference in their lives. What's very special about this is the actual live experimentation and user feedback that I'm getting just by testing some things out. On one hand, there's the side of how I'm presenting the information. That's one side of it. And then the other side of it is the actual reception of the information itself and the feedback from the reaction that some of these kids are having. For example, recently, let's see if I'll pull it up. I'll show you guys the iteration of what's happened so far. And you can actually see in the bottom right there, the latest iteration, which has been blown up big. But what I first started was this kind of advertisement. It's a little bit long. It's got a bunch of text. And the thought was, maybe if I send this out, parents or someone might sign up or it might catch someone's eye. And, I put the logo of the place that I'm using and QR code, some things that happened there. And what I found was, one, I didn't go around town sending this out to people. So taking a step back, the iterations that happened were, let me just put posters at known locations and people are going to reach out. Well, what happened is pretty much 2 weeks went by and I did get one person to reach out, which reminder, go and reach out to that person and see if they're going to come. The second has been, well, why don't I try more of a pamphlet handout tactic? And so all of this collateral was created on Figma or Canva and gone to the printer shop to be printed out. So my latest hook has been going around to the schools right when they're getting out and handing some of these off to both the parents and then also to some of the kids. The hook has been, do you know the difference, or are you familiar with the difference between what's real and what's AI? And so I've got these 4 different versions of images that in fact have already been AI generated. And so I know all of them are. And then we spend a little bit of time for the person to see if they know or they don't know. And the hook the conclusion I need to try is, well, why don't you come on Saturday and you'll find out? Yesterday, when I first tested the approach, I ended up giving the answer to some of the students. And the feedback that I got from the students were some of them were really well into knowing the difference. They caught the slightly misshapen hands. They found that perhaps a little bit of a tint in the colors made it not so real. And all that put together has me going, wait, this might be a way to get someone's attention. Now, whether or not it gets a sign up, that's a different story. But from a week to week over week experimentation basis, I've gotten a little bit more traction with this new form of campaign, let's call it. And so we'll continue on to send these out. This is the second week of, call it, building this workshop for kids, or I guess in some cases folks that are coming that could be a little older. But what I've also learned is how important it is when you're starting something to be registering people through word of mouth. It's a little bit like digital marketing where you get the actual sign up for the demo. And if we think about a funnel, I'm building awareness right now. I'm also building some of the investigation or the curiosity. And then we'll see what happens next, which reminds me, go check the stats on my website to see how many more views I've gotten. Last week, or 2 weeks before I started putting these collaterals out, pretty much 0 views. And now let's see if some folks have actually picked it up and gotten going with this particular one. And so that's it for today, and we will see you later. Yo soy Felipe y somos mágicos.